What's up, Nitwits? It's Damo99, and with me as always, Game Over Joey.
Hey, Nitwits, what's up?
Alright, guys, me and Joe have been thinking about this, and it's been a long debate, and it will be a debate among gamers for forever, probably. I mean, just quite simply, our top 10 favorite games of all time. And like every great gamer in the world, we had this problem where we couldn't narrow it down. So we have a couple honorable mentions. I have a top 10 and 2 honorable mentions. Joe has a top 11 and 3 honorable mentions. So, what can you say? I mean, there are tons of games. I think my list, is definitely a lot different than Joe's. Although we played the same games together now, our games are completely different for so many different reasons. But we'll start off with honorable mention. Joe, since you have 3, lead us off with one of your honorable mentions. There's no order in honorable mention.
Okay, so there's no order.
Honorable mention is honorable mention.
Yeah, but we should have done a top 100. Okay, that's what we should have done.
You know, we'll just knock that out one day. We're gonna just do 100 videos.
See if we can come on some type of an agreement with literally all 100 games. I think we could. We play a lot of the same stuff.
Number 1, Grounded.
Oh my gosh, that's actually a good one.
I left Grounded out, actually.
That's not a bad one, though. I think when the game is fully launched, it wouldn't be a bad one.
No, it will be up there.
So my first honorable mention is going to be Destiny 2.
You want to give any synopsis on that, or you're just blatantly just saying Destiny 2?
Well, so as you know, I love looter shooters. The gameplay in Destiny is, I think, some of the best in any shooter. It feels fluent. Everything, the movement, the shooting. I truly enjoy the boss fights. Yeah, it doesn't have the best storyline, but overall, it's a game because of the grind that you can get thousands of hours out of. And the co-op mechanic with raids and dungeons that they've added, the game has just gotten better over time. And it's a game that I have been playing since the very first launch of 2013 when they dropped Destiny 1. And I'm still playing, now I'm playing Destiny 2, but I've been in this universe, if you will, for the last 9 years. And it's just a game that I always go back to no matter what, and I can always enjoy with buddies.
Diehard community as well. Very loyal.
Oh, yes,
so,
absolutely.
There's always people playing that. It's a great game. I mean, you can't argue with Destiny 2 at all.
Yeah.
I will take it with one of my honorable mentions, in Grand Theft Auto, San Andreas. I like Grand Theft Auto in general, but San Andreas definitely owns a special place in my heart.
Yeah. Definitely
the one I've played the most, and definitely one I probably had the most fun with.
Yeah. I see that San Andreas is such a good game.
Mm-hmm. It honestly was down between 4 and San Andreas.
Oh yeah, well 4, mm-hmm. 4 is phenomenal. Yeah, I think it's one of those games that didn't get enough credit that it deserved. Yeah. I know so many people that have played 5, that had played 3, that had played San Andreas, that played Vice City, but never played 4. And they just didn't see it being very appealing. But in all reality, Nico, the story itself is probably one of the strongest stories, in my opinion, ever told in gaming.
It's your boy Nico.
Yeah, it's phenomenal. So, following up to that, another honorable mention for me was Zelda Breath of the Wild. Now, this was really hard for me because I really wanted to put that in my top 10. But
top 11.
Yeah, top 11. Top 11.
Please.
But, it was real hard for me because when I was making my list, and I know you did the same, Dom, was I had to think about games I spent the most time playing.
Yep.
And games I remember at some of my lowest points in life that brought me to life, if you will, or helped me exit the negativity around me, where I was able to focus on that game and it made me happy, more or less, right? As corny as that is, I think that's what all gamers do to escape reality, right? So, Breath of the Wild, I mean, what's not great about the game itself? The detail, the open world. I mean,
They really nailed open world in that game. They really did.
And Breath of the Wild makes usually a lot of people's top game ever of all time.
Mm-hmm.
And I was really hesitant on not putting it up there, but again, I think back to when I was younger in games that I played that I can even still go back to today and play, that they just trumped it, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Honorable mention number 2. Resident Evil 4. My favorite of the Resident Evil franchises. Leon Kennedy is probably one of my favorite video game characters of all time, which will be another segment we do. I really think just Leon was so awesome. It overall was a fun game. I don't really have much more. If you played it, you're going to love it. If not, I have a lot of great memories playing it. Just popping off a zombie's head, satisfying that game. Plus, I played it on GameCube. I felt like that made my GameCube even more legit when I played it. Like, it was just an amazing game. That's just how I feel about it. It's really the intel I got. It's not very in depth, but
yeah. Again, Resident Evil the franchise is one of my favorite franchises of all time.
Mm-hmm.
We're talking about from the first game all the way up to Village, right? But now 6, it kind of fell off the map because it came more of an action-packed series, and it wasn't really what Resident Evil was about. But
yeah,
yeah. I mean, 4 was great. 2 was my favorite. 3 was really good too. 4 was great though. But yeah, I think that's a really good one. I think last but not least, for my third honorable mention is going to be Witcher 3 Wild Hunt. Again, another open world game executed flawlessly. Amazing combat. Just overall, the attention to detail in the world, slaying monsters. There's just something about it. The story itself, too, that really gets you so involved. And you get when a game makes you feel, or a movie or a show makes you feel like you hate a specific enemy, or you feel sad at specific scenes, they did something right in the writing.
Yeah.
And I really feel that The Witcher 3 really pulls you in to that world where you just feel so damn good about everything that you're doing, and yet you just get lost in reality. That's what it is. You get lost into the game, you forget about reality, and you're in the game for good. Hands down, it's a phenomenal game. If you've never played it, you're missing out on life.
The Witcher 3. No, I mean, I'm missing out on life, but I think though, talking about like characters, like they really draw you in or make you love or hate a game. I know on my list, this one isn't on there, but Voss in general, from the Far Cry series, is arguably one of the greatest characters of any game, and I think he's made, for me, Far Cry more replayable. That's because he's so freaking awesome.
I would say that's for a majority of people, though. I mean,
yeah.
He won Villain of the Year. I mean,
he won Character of the Year.
Yeah. So you got to understand.
I think him and Joker are the only villains to ever win it, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah, Far Cry 3 is an iconic game, and that's really when the series took off. I remember playing Far Cry 1 and 2, and they were good games, but Far Cry 3 is when it really just branched out to be its own game. And ever since then, they haven't really had a bad Far Cry. And, but yeah, I totally agree with that. Totally.
Well, you got the 11, so start off with number 11, Joe.
Okay, so since you're going to force me to put these in order.
Yeah, I am.
Oh my gosh, this is harder than I thought it was going to be. It's going to be a whole bunch of silence during this.
There.
Okay, here we go. Number 11 for me is going to be Elder Scrolls Morrowind.
Okay.
So again, open world game. I don't know if you're catching a vibe here, but open world game. It's the best Elder Scrolls game ever made. It was the only Elder Scrolls where you could really become a god. You could craft boots, have super speed, run to one side of the map in literally a blink of an eye, right? It
Mhm.
was the one game that really had no limitations in the Elder Scrolls series that really just, again, broke boundaries. Skyrim's a phenomenal game. I put hyphen Skyrim because I really love Skyrim Oblivion as well. But if I had to choose one of the three, it would be Morrowind. So that's my number 11.
Number 10 for me, I just put The Sims. I don't care if you do 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever. I think The Sims in general are just great games. A lot of gameplay, a lot of hours spent. Families curated, dumb things done. I just think Sims. If you like The Sims, you understand what I mean by just saying dumb things to do and living fake lives or whatever. And if you hate The Sims, you're gonna be like, this guy's stupid because who would waste their time doing that. Um, I know people that are like that. I know both sides of the story, but honestly, I think The Sims is just way too much fun and way too much like dumb entertainment is the way I would put it. The way I play Sims.
No, 100%. 100%.
Not to make my top 10 or so that's number 10 for me.
Yeah, so number 10 for me is Halo 2. So specifically Halo, I played Halo Combat Evolved a ton. And Halo 2 was where it really hit home for me. I thought the game just overall was a better game. It was more polished. I liked the maps like Lockout a lot better.
Mm-hmm.
And I also became extremely good at the game. And I remember all the custom matches like zombies that you could create in Halo 2. And this is one of those symbolic games for me because it personally had a lot of good memories playing it with my brother, my buddies. We used to do LAN parties.
Yeah.
And
Halo was the king of LAN parties.
100%. And it was one of those things where I just had, countless hours of fun on Halo.
Yeah.
And Halo 2 makes my number 10 spot.
Number 9, Call of Duty World at War. Call of Duty franchise, amazing. World at War, by far their best game they've ever made. Yeah. You can argue Modern Warfare 1 or 2, whatever, I don't care. World at War was my favorite. I think having tanks in there was just unreal. I think mostly the weapons were balanced. There definitely were ones more superior, but that's every game. A lot of hours spent, a lot of fun, just in general. World at War lobbies were not as toxic as Modern Warfare lobbies, but still perfectly toxic. And it's just I don't know how else to describe that. If you've been through a Call of Duty lobby in the early, I guess tens, I don't know, late 2000s, I don't know. You survived life then, so you'll be fine with everything ever happening. So. World at War is by far their best Call of Duty and my number 9.
Okay. So, wait, what number am I on then? 8?
No, you're on 9 because you had 11.
No, that's right. That's right. I was joking.
Liar.
I put for my spot for number 9 was Sims. So, again, very similar to what you said. It's stupid fun. Again, it took you out of reality. You started a family. You could do a lot of other things with Sims, locking them in rooms with no doors. And if you've played, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Professions. Sims, the very first Sims. So Sims 1 was phenomenal. Sims 2, when it released open for business with the pets expansion pack and everything, was amazing. And then they had the H&M fashion pack. I absolutely love Sims just in general, but 2, I think it really took off for me personally. 3 was really good. I think 4 is better than 3, and I'm really excited to see what they do with 5.
Yeah, I think Sims 2, what's amazing about it is the expansion packs have always been just amazing.
Highway robbery.
Well, yeah, they're expensive, but they're always good. They're always good. Yeah. So, yeah. Just my opinion. Number 8 for me, and I think this is a game that kind of the irony is if I've never listened to it, I never would have played it, or basically be doing this right now. But Phasmophobia. So 1, I don't like horror games. I love Resident Evil 4 though, but I hate horror games. I hate being scared. I hate scary movies. Joe loves them. Joe makes me watch them. Joe makes me play them, like any good friend would do. And Phasmophobia, we played on the. You convinced me to buy it, and we played on the easiest difficulty, and we were scared to walk into a house, and nothing ever happened. And we played it whenever there was like not much content. It was very basic. And for about a year now, we've been playing that game for over 150 hours, probably closer to 200 hours. And it's pretty developed. It's a lot of fun, and we run around on Nightmare with lights off and everything, and all the gear around, and we're awesome. We're ghost hunters now. Yep. But I have to give Phasmophobia its credit where it's due. We've put way too much time in that game, had way too much fun. It's a game where you just hop on, play a couple games real quick, and pop off. That's what makes it great, in my opinion. Or, if you suck and die instantly, you're like, you want to screw this game? It's like, oh, well, there could be a different ghost this time. What's it going to be?
Yeah. Again, a phenomenal game.
Mm-hmm.
Amazing. So I think that leads me to my 8, right?
Yeah.
So for me, my number 8 game is Call of Duty War. Specifically zombies. I truly loved the multiplayer aspect, the tanks that were in the game, the guns. It felt really good, and I remember having the most fun though playing zombies. I'm a hardcore zombies fan from Black Ops 2, Black Ops 3, 4, so forth. And ultimately, I do think this is the best Call of Duty ever, and I agree with you, Dom, as in, if anyone wants to argue Modern Warfare or Modern Warfare 2 is when the series took off, I would totally disagree. I think it took off with War, then Black Ops. I'm more of a Treyarch guy anyway.
Yeah, so. I mean, same.
Yep.
I just think the added element of zombies was that much better.
Oh,
no, Spec Ops was cool. Not going to take that away, but I like zombies a lot more than Spec Ops.
Oh, yeah, me too. Absolutely.
Number 7. I just, this game's just a classic, Mario Kart. A lot of friendships lost, a lot of bets lost as a kid. But, Donkey Kong for life. Hate everyone that used Yoshi all the time. So, I don't think there's much to say about Mario Kart, except it's driving around on different courses using Mario characters. And what's better than that? Because Mario is one of the best franchises ever.
Yeah, you can't disagree with that at all. It's an amazing franchise, and that blue shell, it did cost a lot of
OP.
Friendships. Okay. I like that one. I didn't even think about Mario Kart.
You're welcome.
Yeah. So my next one actually is going to be Fable. Lost Chapter specifically. Again, another RPG, but Fable didn't take itself seriously. It was a game that was a lot of fun, goofy, but I thought had a great story. What was his name? Jack Mask or whatever.
I can't tell you names. It was that darn chicken that always made me laugh. Every intro had the chicken.
I mean, overall, Fable again for just absolutely an amazing RPG. It was way ahead of its time when it first launched, and I just remember having so much fun with it. And I went back and played Fable 4 or 5 years ago, and I thought the graphics held up well. As old as it is, again, super impressed with the game. I'm super excited for this next Fable entry, being made by Playground Games. I hope they can deliver upon the old charm that everyone has and that love they have for Fable. But yeah, that's my number 7.
Number 6. How about just another game where you hate all your friends? Smash Bros. You can pick the one for 64, you can pick the one for GameCube, you can pick the one for Wii U, you can pick the one for Switch, whatever one you want to pick. I said Wii U, yeah, it's probably one of the most successful franchises in general. Everyone has a character they're good with for no apparent reason, or they spent way too much time playing. I just think there's nothing better. It's like Mortal Kombat, but better. That's how I describe, Smash Bros. Just more open, more movement.
Yeah.
Not cheesy combos, although you can make it that.
Yeah. Fair enough.
Yeah.
Yeah. So my number 6 is actually Phasmophobia. Again, for the same sake, well, I guess not for the same sake of Dom, because I love horror games. I always
Yep.
have. But again, it's a game where you can play hours upon hours of and get pissed off, not want to play it for a while, but then you always come back.
Baby,
The
come back.
the longevity I think the game has is just it's a game that's going to be there forever, and it changes every time you play. And now you can argue,
Yeah.
well, you got to find fingerprints. It's the same thing every game. Yes, but the interactions that you have with the ghost change, and I just think that lasting appeal will always be there, and it's a game that you can always go back to have a blast with friends.
The developers of that game listen to their community so well,
They do.
and that needs to be called out for how great Phasmophobia is.
Oh, 100%. I agree with that. Totally.
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but you
No,
know.
you're good. That's all I got.
Number 5 already. Jeez, I put Borderlands 2.
That's on my number 5 as well.
Is it?
Yes.
Hey, twinning. We can talk together.
Yeah.
I just think Borderlands 2 is by far the best in the franchise. It has the best characters overall.
Yeah.
It does a great job introducing the old characters back into the game. Just great DLC, great everything. I mean, overall, it's one of the greatest games ever. It's just beautiful.
Yep. I totally agree. And for Borderlands 2, I easily put over 1,000 hours in that game. I even was a part of a Steam group where we would assist other people who are looking to get through, well, more or less power leveling their characters, or try to get for tougher situations or tougher, parts of the story or whatnot.
Yeah.
I absolutely loved it, and still do today. It's a game that I could always go back to and play. But Borderlands 2 is just hands down a phenomenal looter shooter, and it literally
The best.
Yeah. Well, it is. Borderlands created the looter shooter. Like, you can argue Diablo, came out, but Diablo's not a looter. It's not a shooter, but it is a looter, right? But I do think that looter shooters, Borderlands is really the father of that specific genre.
Top 4, Joe. And I'm going to guarantee you that 3 of my top 4 are not in your top 4.
Well, you're probably right, but I want you to guess what my top 4 are.
No, we're just going to go with some. I'm not guessing anything.
Okay, go for it.
So my number 4 is Mario Party. As you can tell,
What?
I love Nintendo games. No secret if you listen to any podcast. Mario Party is one of the funnest games I've ever played in my life, especially when I was young, and how many blisters I got on my hands, how many fights I got with my siblings, with my friends. 2, 3 a.m. where we too loud and, your parents will wake up and they yell at you. It was the game in my household. It was a game amongst my friends, and I just absolutely have to give Mario Party credit. It is better, in my opinion, than Smash Bros. Better than all those games. I play the ones that come out for Switch. I absolutely enjoy them.
Wow.
I play them with my kids now.
Wow.
It just,
Wow.
I just love Mario Party so much. The mini games, everything, it's always different. Yeah.
I'm
told you.
gonna add my 2 cents here, okay? So I love Nintendo games as well. Again, Breath of the Wild, Mario Odyssey's phenomenal. Mario Kart, obviously, Super Smash Bros. But to say that Mario Party is better than those games actually completely shocks me. Wow.
4 of my top 10 are Nintendo exclusives.
Wow. Okay.
Hmm?
I'm gonna go ahead and do my 4. So my 4 actually is gonna be Left 4 Dead. 1 and 2. I put 1 and 2, probably more leaning
That's fine.
towards 2.
Same difference.
Yeah, again, it's what's not to love about the game. It is 4 buddies. Sorry for the dog barking.
That's life.
Yeah, it's life. You're playing versus mode specifically. 4 buddies on playing as survivors, 4 playing as zombies or infected, and ultimately that amount of fun that Left 4 Dead 2 brought to everyone is endless fun. Again, it's a game that you can get 2,000-3,000 hours in, and it never gets old Being a smoker, choking out a friend, and then being a hunter and jumping on top of somebody and killing them, and then adding mods to it due to the Steam support just made the game even 10 times better. It hands down, in my opinion, is probably the best zombie game, if not the best zombie game ever made. Yeah, that's on my number 4 slot. And honestly, I actually even thought about putting that higher. It was hard for me to do that. So,
yeah. All right, Joe, top 3, and this is where the game that I think means the most to me out of any game on here, and for just a variety of reasons, but I have Donkey Kong Country. I don't care if you do 1, 2, 3, Donkey Kong Freeze, Donkey Kong whatever. Donkey Kong Country was that game that, to go personal here, when my parents were getting divorced, that I sunk my life into, because I only had Super Nintendo. And that was the game I had and I loved the most, and I played it so much, and I could get the jumps down, and none of my siblings were better than me at it. And I remember that distinctively. I was better than them, and it made me feel so sweet. It really got me into video games so much. But Donkey Kong is probably my favorite video character of all time. I always tell everyone I'm going to get the Donkey Kong tie tattooed on me as an actual tie. I enjoy those games so much, and it's just a big thank you to Donkey Kong in general. I know it's not the greatest game. I absolutely know that, but to me, it is. To me, it means the most too. So it made my top 3. It was hard not to move it up higher, but the 2 above, just better in general. So I couldn't put it above them. But Donkey Kong Country just means the world to me, and I'm going to show it to everybody I can and make sure people know it.
Yeah, that's fair enough, right? I think going back to, like I said earlier, talking about Halo, when there's a game that you're going through a rough time and help you get through that rough time, it honestly is going to be a game that's always going to be close to you, your heart, right? It's going to be a game that you're always going to remember and have nothing but fun memories of.
Yeah.
So
for sure.
Absolutely. So my next one, my third spot, so we're down to the top 3, right? And this was so difficult for me because there's so many good games out there, right? And I struggled with this one, but I put, for number 3, I put Rainbow Six Siege.
Yep.
Again, huge fan. I've been playing it since 2015. I've been Diamond, Plat, the whole 9 yards. I just never made the new ranking, which I think is Champion, but it's a game I just truly enjoy. I love the comp aspect. I love how the guns feel. I love the operators. I love everything about the game. Again, I don't think there's anything, I could really, I just love shooters, right? And Siege, I think, is the best tactical shooter that has ever been made. And it overall just a blast of friends. So that's my third.
The facts. Number 2. I don't know if you're ready for this, but Red Dead Redemption. I think Red Dead Redemption 1 has the biggest twist in a game, in my opinion. Well, one of the biggest. It had the most emotional twist for me, because I was like, I finally did everything you people asked, and they end with killing me. I hated when you became, his son was Jack, right, Marston?
Yeah,
Jack was annoying. But just playing as John and just enjoying the game. When you go into Mexico and the music starts playing, I just feel like it's such an epic gaming moment.
Yeah.
It really stands out, to me still to this day. I remember that so distinctively. I remember having my friends playing, watching them. I just think Red Dead's a beautiful game. It's a darn near flawless game.
I agree.
Yeah.
So for my number 2 spot, it's Red Dead.
Whoa, what? Is it really?
It really is. So Red Dead Redemption is, again, I think everything that you said, but I put 1 in too, because again, I think back to 2 and how far they had advanced the mechanics. The only thing I don't like about 2 specifically is the survival aspect, with you having to, drink, eat, cold, whatever. But Red Dead Redemption 1, yeah, it was definitely, especially when Nightmare came out, by the way. I'm going to add that because that was the best expansion pack ever done in a game ever.
Yeah. That really might be the greatest DLC ever.
Oh yeah, that's 100%. And I think that made the game. But yeah, I'm not going to add any more than what you really added, but just a phenomenal RPG, phenomenal story. Was definitely a game that had never been created before. And what I mean by that is Rockstar has been known to break boundaries, right? And I think when they released Red Dead Redemption, it was just one of those games where it just destroyed competition and ultimately proved like the power that, you know, Rockstar has, and a phenomenal game.
So our number one, I don't know if you know mine. So
I don't know.
You know, it could be anything. But you know, I ultimately had to settle for the greatest game of all time, although they wouldn't give me the freaking Legendary Edition for free or sponsor our channel. Mass Effect 2. The Mass Effect series is my favorite series, arguably. It's one of them. I have to hand it to them. Although I don't really care for EA. Mass Effect 2 changed gaming because your decisions mattered. It actually made you feel more like the character. Yeah. I don't know if you agree. I mean, I really felt like I was Shepard. Because you had to make every choice right. You had to know what you're doing. You had to build the army. You had to make sure your choice at the end of the game to make sure everyone survived, or you watched everyone die, like when you watch your friends play. I just think the game, like, I get really, like, sometimes warped into, like, the story. And just that game, Mass Effect 2, I have replayed it so many times. I have done everything. I have tried to, you know, kill off certain characters, make other ones for Mass Effect 3 whenever it comes through. I had so many save files. It just wasted so much time in that game. It's not the greatest shooting mechanics, but it's a lot better than 1. You know, they made great improvements from 1 to 2. Mass Effect 2, the love interest stories were funny. Like, to me, I just think there were joking points. I think it's fun how the story that you chose in 1 carried over to 2, and from 2 to 3, and that actually did matter, except for the end of 3, you know, like everyone wins. Woohoo. But I just think it's an amazing game, and I really want them to remake the franchise in general. I would take it on next-gen graphics with all new everything, and I'd be completely happy, but we all know my love for Mass Effect 2, and I could talk way more about it, but it's my favorite game of all time. I understand why it wouldn't be other people's favorite game, but I just think the idea of the story element, where your choices finally actually mattered, and it wasn't just like, oh, you know, you made it to the castle. Good job.
Okay. I think Mass Effect overall is a great series, right? 1 was good, 2 was the best, 3 was okay. Obviously, Andromeda, no one likes to speak of it. It kind of
it's not real.
Off the map.
We don't talk about it.
But yeah, I mean, it is a great game, and I do see why a lot of people would put that as one of their top games or series.
Yeah.
For me, it was Last of Us 2. That's just my number 1. So, no.
Just get out of here, sir.
No, I'm totally joking.
It's funny though. I almost put The Last of Us in here, and then like I just kept finding these other games, and I was like, man, like I like The Last of Us, but it can't make this list.
So yeah, you know, it's funny. Last of Us was an honorable mention for me, and I ended up removing it altogether as well. Yeah, but we'll go. So I know Indecisive Joe. That's me. I have 2 number 1s. Okay. So
you had 12.
Yes, but I couldn't pick between these 2.
Okay.
And I want you to try to guess them.
Dead by Daylight is one for sure.
Okay. You know this one.
Man.
I was just talking about it with you earlier, about how geeked I am for it, and I was watching...
Oh, wow, Overwatch.
Yes. So,
wow, I can't believe that Overwatch isn't one of your ones. Dead by Daylight I completely get.
What do you mean? It's you can't believe it.
Because like you love Dead by, you always talk about Dead by Daylight, but Overwatch, man, you're just waiting for 2 to come out for like just.
So yeah. Wait, you're saying you thought Overwatch was gonna be my singular one?
No, I thought Dead by Daylight was gonna be your singular one. I thought you left Overwatch off because it hadn't been up to this point.
No. Overwatch. Okay, so here's the thing. So Dead by Daylight, Overwatch, I have more hours in. Overwatch, I easily have exceeded 2,000 hours. Not even kidding. Dead by Daylight, 1,000. Okay. So I think about both those games and the amount of time I played each of them and how much fun I had on them. And I still play them today. I just literally played Overwatch earlier today. And I played Dead by Daylight yesterday. And I've never stopped playing these games. And these two games specifically, since I go back to them all the time, and I play them multiple times throughout the week, hands down, they to me are the greatest games of all time. And because of the longevity, the lastability, the fun that you have, again, with friends, the competition element, it's just so, to me, if I could just choose two games to play nonstop, if literally you had to choose two and that's all you could play the rest of your life, those would be the two I would choose. Now, if you said, Joe, you only could choose one, I would probably lean a little bit more towards Overwatch. But ultimately, it would be hard for me to do that because I love both. But those are my hands down, my number one spot. And they're the greatest games of all time, in my opinion.
Facts.
And now
I think they're both amazing games. Actually, it's hard to argue.
But you know what I'm about to do? Because I'm so indecisive. I'm moving Siege to number 2. And I'm moving Borderlands to 3. And then Siege... then Red Dead to 4.
We good?
Yeah, we're good. That's what I'm doing. It's recorded, and it's all been said.
Said in the times of history now.
Yes.
Jeez Louise.
I'm sure when Hogwarts Legacy comes out, it might debunk a lot of these.
Yeah, it definitely will.
Yeah, it could be my number one spot, so...
I mean, listen, Nitwits, let us know your opinion as well. I think one of the fun things about gaming is you can always make an argument for or against any game.
Yeah.
Especially, I think it's harder for console players not having PC things.
Honorable mention, Gas Station Simulator.
It's also harder for console players not having PC games because PC has so many games that we didn't even mention. They're just dumb and awesome and great, like Gas Station Simulator. Good plug, Joe. It's just so many things where, I think it changes gaming. I really think owning a PC does. And I know that sounds dumb because I didn't believe it, but I really do believe that PC gaming is a lot different than console gaming. It's not. I don't think it makes you better, but there's so much more. there's so many different things you can play, so many different indie things and everything. It's a lot of fun. So
it's a lot better. Chocolate.
Knew it coming. I had it. But all right, Nitwits, we're out of here. Thanks for joining. Like, subscribe, tell us more, give us your top 10, let us know what you're thinking. Tell Joe he's insane for, having 30 games in his top 10. But
peace.
Have a good one.
Love and chicken grease.